Welcome back into Talkin' Trash. I'm back here again with Baeginning, and we're going to get into the summer 2021 anime. A little late to really call this a preview, but I haven't seen a single episode of anything yet, so it's a preview as far as I'm concerned.
To be fair, you had some extenuating circumstances that prevented you. So, while it's a preview, I've watched some stuff, so I guess it's kind of like a mix of both episodes together.
That's why
We'll
I
see how
invite you
things
on.
go. Yeah.
Somebody here has to have some sort of educated opinion on anything, and educated
I
is
mean,
not a
based
word
off of,
used to describe me.
I was about to say, based off of last season when I made the prediction about Fruits Basket, you would imagine that I'm the one that has the actual good predictions.
Yeah, that season's over. Get over it. I did finish
Yeah, but that
all of
season's
Fruits
over.
Basket. I did watch it. I finished it all yesterday. It was good. It's really good. I did also get to finally watching Odd Taxi. Also good.
I did see that you were watching Odd Taxi because we actually we share an account for stuff to watch. So I saw what I like. I looked. I think it was like the day after you left for your stuff. I just saw you were on episode 8 already, and I was like, oh, you must have watched that on the plane.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean both of those were pretty good. I don't have any complaints about them being rated highly, but new season, looking ahead. We'll start with some of the news that's happened over the past few weeks, starting with some kind of manga related stuff. Bleach is getting a new chapter one shot coming out August 10th. If you found your way onto this channel, you probably already know about that. A pair of Jump manga, Undead Unluck and Mashal, are getting anime adaptations. I have no idea how far along they are, and I've never read either, but I have heard of both and seen pictures of both. You read more manga than I do. I don't know if you know of either.
Yeah. So as of right now, I don't know an exact there's 7 volumes for Undead Unlock. I don't know how many chapters
Hmm.
that is per se, but it started being written back in early January of 2020. So it's been going about a year and a half right now. Whereas if you wanted to take a look at Mashal, it
And it,
actually is pretty much the same exact thing, only started like a week after, and that's
hmm.
also 7 volumes, so they're probably around similar points.
Okay, I mean 7 volumes seems like plenty to
Oh yeah, if you're
adapt.
gonna do a 12 episode adaptation, yeah. If I look a little bit more deeply, it looks like in terms of the volumes right now, there's like 60 chapters, and I feel like
That's
if I remember
mm,
correctly, I want to go off of. I'm gonna just say a random anime like a Kame ga Kill because I remember I started reading that halfway through the anime because I wanted to read it,
mhm.
and I think 24 episodes might have been like 60 chapters, so you can easily get 12 episodes for something like that.
Yeah, I think roughly what is usually done is about 3 chapters an episode. Seems kind of standard, unless you're a webtoon, and then it's like 80 chapters an episode.
Yeah.
So,
I think the first episode typically tends to cover more ground, but for on average, I probably agree with you about 3 chapters. Yeah.
mm. Then you had some more
Other manga
ridiculous
news?
manga
Yeah.
news. Yeah,
So I know that you're a basketball person, and I'm sure there's one person out of the how many people that ever watch our video here that know who I'm about to say. But there's news that came out today that pro basketball players Brooke and Robin Lopez are producing a manga with slam dunk artist Tatsus, and it is called Transition Game. Transition Game is the story of a 15-year-old basketball prodigy living in Germany, and obviously it's slam dunk, they're basketball players, so it's going to be a little bit of their basketball journey as a sports manga. And I
it,
mean, slam dunk's pretty good, other sports manga typically is good, so I don't know.
yeah, and I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be all them, writing it. I'm sure the author and
Yeah,
things will
but
help,
I
but
mean,
I don't really understand why German players. I don't know why it's called transition game. They're both 7 feet tall. They're anything but transition. And
it's funny that you mentioned like Germany and stuff like that because we're gonna get into a sports anime later from what something I want to talk about, and it's very like similar to that.
and I'm trying to see what the background is of the Lopez brothers, but I feel like they could have done an international. like non-Japan, non-American basketball anime of, the country they're actually like not from, but
I mean, you want to
their
sell it.
background.
Yeah, you want to
Uh,
sell it.
I guess. Uh, I'm
Because here's
just
the thing
so
you also have to think
baffled.
about. I mean, you also have to like consider how many people that read manga are gonna know who the hell Brooke and Robin Lopez are to care enough. Like,
That's true. I mean, I do see here the the Lopez brothers and family have played professional basketball, obviously in the USA, but also in Japan, New Zealand, and Spain. I do notice that no one's ever played in Germany, but whatever. I don't know. Good for
maybe
them.
Tatsu's has some research in Germany. We'll find out when maybe I'll
Who
pick it up and
knows?
read it.
I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
certainly interested in that more than I should be.
That's why I figured it would be right up your alley.
Few other more anime related now, trying to move away from manga a bit. We know this upcoming fall season was set to be pretty stacked. Obviously, a lot of craziness can happen. That's kind of the reason fall's stacked in the first place. Shield Hero was slated to be in the fall, but that has been delayed now until April of 2022. We also
Which is
had, oh, again,
pretty far out. Like that's not just one, two
yeah,
seasons. That's almost an entire like year's worth of time gone by.
and they've already had a year or two of like since it was announced that they'd be doing seasons
Yeah,
2 and 3. So
but you know it is coming in the fall, Blue Period, which I've been hyping up for like 3 months now.
I'm so excited about like everything in fall. I feel like
There's a
this.
ton.
I feel like this
This
season I'm
season,
like struggling. I'm grasping for things to watch, and
yeah,
then next
we're
season's
really
gonna be
like
like the whole
because like the
slate.
thing about this season is that your top two most watched anime right now are sequels. And if you haven't watched Reincarnated as Slime or Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, like you're not
Yep,
really finding too much.
I
And
haven't seen either. So
yeah, and then
yeah.
like the crazy thing is that the fourth most viewed thing is currently being rated at a 6.5. So I don't know why it's the fourth most viewed thing.
Oh
Like
God.
it's a weird season, and so you're gonna see us have like very stark contrasting opinions with these, and
Yeah.
I might say something that you probably don't even agree with, and that's okay because it's a hard season to kind of grasp at. We were very blessed with what the spring season provided
Yeah.
us that we're allowed to have a little bit of a lull here if the season doesn't hold up
Hmm.
to kind of like the bookends, but because you're gonna have fall next season, which is supposed to be super hype, we're
Yeah.
allowed to have a little bit of a dip here.
Yeah. That's. I mean, you can't put that many great shows in fall and expect every season to stack up to it. Winter and
Yeah,
fall are pretty
exactly.
ridiculous. Spring had a good amount of surprises. I hope summer pulls through with a few as well. Um, Speaking of both winter and summer and not knowing what season anything's happening, Beastars season 3 was confirmed. Um, I am probably gonna start that like tonight, maybe tomorrow. Now that I've finished Fruits Basket and Hot Taxi, that is next on my completed shows. Um, a question, a bit of foreshadowing here. Does Beastars season 3 count as a summer anime because of Netflix jail, or are we considering it winter because it was supposed to be winter?
I mean, I guess the thing that I would say is, are we willing to say that we found legal means of watching it before then,
Well,
or are we waiting like the good people that we are?
I've waited. I have waited patiently. I don't know why. I watched like 5 other things legally last season. For some reason, Beastars, I was like, yeah, I'll wait for Netflix. They deserve it. They've done a lot of great anime recently, all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's up to you because like it's one of those things that I'm sure everybody else is already talking about Beastars, so I don't necessarily
Mhm.
think that we should consider it at that point because what's probably been said about season three is already said. We're kind of just waiting for it to be like as a legal release for us to be able to watch it. But
Yes. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna watch it with the summer slate, but I'm not gonna count it in any predictions. If I were, I would be predicting it to be better than anything that's actually in this season.
yeah, I I'd probably lean towards that. It's gonna be hard to say because I think that there could be some things and like I think the other thing is that we still have some carryover from the last season.
Yeah.
So you're gonna hear me talk about it a little bit later on, but like I almost have divided categories of what's airing right now and what was a carryover that might fit into a category.
Yeah. Yeah, like with a season that's this week, you're tempted to throw like One Piece out there as the best show of the season.
I'm not
Other
gonna go that far, don't worry.
My favorite airing anime is Hunter x Hunter.
My least favorite one is Boruto, the easy one for every season.
It's not really news. It shouldn't be news any more than any other series, but Crunchyroll delivered last season with Odd Taxi, and I think it's kind of hilarious that I saw Crunchyroll original Fena Pirate Princess is gonna debut August 14th, and I just brought up One Piece. It's fun seeing another pirate anime. I didn't really think about it until I
Yeehaw!
read the announcement. I was like, oh shit, that's right. Other people are allowed to write about pirates.
We are indeed allowed more than one pirate anime.
So that'll be fun, hopefully. And then,
Before it's just garbage CGI, but it's also Crunchyroll, so I feel like
yep.
we can have our hopes up a little bit more.
Yeah, it should be okay at least. Maybe even really good. Who knows?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
while we're on the
right.
topic of Crunchyroll, I'll be releasing this video tomorrow. We are recording this on Wednesday, but it will go up Thursday, August 5th. So the time you're watching this today is also the start of the Crunchyroll Expo. And that also means tomorrow is the premiere of the My Hero Academia movie. So those are both things to keep an eye on. I don't know how much I particularly care about either right now.
I mean, I'm curious about the My Hero movie just because I would like to be able to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say there is one thing that excites me, and it has nothing to do with the actual anime itself, but Asian Kung Fu Generation is doing the theme song for that. And if there's that is like what the like first
They gave the movie a theme
Japanese
song.
music group that you think of or like that you learn about like if you watch early like 2000s anime like everyone knew Asian Kung Fu Generation because they did Bleach, they did Naruto, they did D Gray Man, they've done so many out there. So anytime that you see them, even they've been in more recent stuff because they did Erased. So like
Yeah.
they
They did something
they're a name
very
that's
recent too,
always
like this year.
yeah. So they're a name that I always like to see just for that like sake a little bit because I do like see recognizing artists. And on top of that, I actually read that on topic of like music artists that do anime stuff, Lisa is going to go on a hiatus. So Lisa
Yes. Yeah.
is very well known. She's done a regular Magical High School. She did Sword Art Online. She did Nisekoi. She's done so many
Yeah. She's
different
massive.
songs. Yeah,
She's
she's one
like
of like the biggest ones these days.
she's like the one artist where I try to look up an anime intro and I get like the official music video comes up first in the results.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
her going on hiatus is a pretty big deal, I'd say.
yeah. All right. Ready to get into the some of the categories and some of the things going on in the
I do
summer
have one
season?
other thing that I wanted to say about
Yeah,
news
go for
too
it.
was so DigiFest, the Digimon event that got announced on Sunday was that they're going to have a new anime coming out, and that might not be as exciting, but what is exciting is Digimon Adventures 02, which was directly following the Digimon that we all grew up on, Tai, Agumon, all of those. So that sequel that they still had like TK and Kyrie in, that's gonna get a new movie, and it's gonna have all those same characters, but I think they're gonna try to like not be like a one-to-one identical to the old stuff, but should be interesting. I mean, like we see right now that they're already redoing the original Digimon with that series that's like going up on Crunchyroll and Verve right now. So, there is a bit of nostalgia there, and I still like Digimon for what it's worth. Like, there's a really good game on the Switch that I played, so I'm probably gonna watch it when the time comes.
Yeah, I haven't watched Digimon since it was on a VHS tape I had actually. So it's
Do you still have it? That's my question.
that's a great question. Uh
Let's do show and tell next
ooh.
show.
Ooh, yeah, I might be able to get that by the end of the season. I'll let you know.
All right, you heard it here first. We might do a show and tell next time.
All right, now getting into the categories here, starting off with sleeper as we usually do, something a bit under the radar, underrated. I'll kick it off.
Yeah, because I'm still unsure about whether I want this as a.
That's fair. I I have Magia Record written down. It's not one I'm gonna call as a sleeper because it is season 2 of a spin-off, which feels
That's fair.
weird. But it's the Madoka spin-off, which I like season 1 of Magia Record. I don't know what the public opinion of it was, but I thought it was pretty good. So I'm excited for that, and I think that'll be better than it gets credit for. But as an actual standalone series, I think Ideten Idetian deities know only peace. I don't know how the hell I
You're
should
doing
be
great.
pronouncing that. But
Let's
that,
just go with Idetian and just
yeah,
end
that
it at that.
sounds perfect. I think that's what I said, so it's perfect.
All
Um,
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I just repeated what I heard you say. So.
that is the new Mappa series.
Oh,
It
okay.
looks like it has some really original, like unique kind of art to it. If you go to the pictures on my anime list, it's like half of the pictures look really cool and the other half are just like giant titties. I'm hoping it's more really cool than it is giant titties. It doesn't have an etchy tag in the genres, so I'm hopeful, but
Reminder: trash. You have not seen anything yet. This is just you're going off of like
yeah.
speculation.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Just so that we're all clear, even though this is a little late, this is your speculation. I'm the one that's gonna have a couple episodes under their belt.
Hmm. Yeah, so I mean that I think that would be my pick for sleeper, but I do, in all seriousness, what I hope happens is that the Crunchyroll original pirate series, Fena Pirate Princess, is awesome.
You
That
know what?
would
That's
be
fair.
amazing.
That is fair. I'll have to check it out because I really do want more things to watch. I definitely been slacking, but I've been really focused on like my obviously I also do content creation on the side like with all my streaming and stuff like that. So I've had a hard time balancing things lately because I've been doing a lot of other like things that I was competing in tournaments. So I am lacking comparatively to what I normally have, but I do have one sleeper and I'm I I feel very weird because well, you know how we were talking about sports anime?
Yep.
Well, welcome to this water polo anime.
Yep.
This is called Remain, and reminder, I don't care about boys and speedos. I'm not into that. So I'm watching it because, like, to put it in perspective, last night I went to watch 4 different anime, like the first 2 episodes, because I was like, all right, let me give myself something to talk about here. And this was one of those that I was just so curious about. And I actually watched all 4 episodes in one night because I was like, wait, I kind of just want to keep watching this. And maybe it's because I swam in high school and there's like a little bit of there, but like,
Mm.
I don't know. So I'm going to give you a quick, like 2 sentences that like might have been why it interested me. So you start off in the first like 2 minutes, you find out that the main character pretty much lost all their memory of their middle school. They're in high school now because they got in a bad accident. You don't really know what's happened in that accident, but they were like a prodigy water polo person. So they were in a hospital for pretty much a half year. So they like they're like weaker now. They don't remember anything, and it's them trying to get back into water polo. So I think like that like weekend journey kind of makes me have an interest in sports anime. I do really like.
Mhm.
There's a lot of them out there that I'm literally sipping out of a cup of Mia Atsumu from Haikyuu. Like, so I do think that this has potential. It does
Yeah.
have
It
extremely, extremely big free vibes,
I mean, I saw
and
all the art and the promotional art and it looked fantastic. I just when I saw
it's
the picture,
beautiful.
I saw the ball and I was like, "Oh, is it volleyball or like soccer maybe?" Cuz I'm looking at the art now. I think is it a Mikasa branded ball? It is. It's a
Let
Mikasa
me.
branded water polo ball. So I thought it was volleyball for a second,
I
and
don't
it's
know
by Mappa.
if you want to link this image at all in like the description. I'm gonna send this to you right now. That is a photo that the character has in their room, and you can see why there is free vibes. It is just 5 dudes in speedos, super super ripped.
Very nice. I Yeah, I thought it could be decent. I just when I realized it was water polo, I was like, oh, I don't really care about water polo. It would be like
You
the
watched
first.
Burning Comedy. You
I
and you say you don't
dropped it
care
though.
about okay, but to say that you don't care about water polo but was willing to watch Burning Comedy for a couple episodes.
Yeah, I don't have a comeback. That's fine.
All right. So yes,
um,
currently that's my sleeper because I feel like people are gonna skip out on it because it's gonna have free vibes, and I know a
yeah.
lot of men don't like to watch free. So I was like, well, as a gay woman, let me see if I can like this, and I did.
Mhm. I mean, we both chose the Mappa shows, which I think is fair. If there's two shows not being talked about both by Mappa, I feel like good choices to me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Mappa's one of those studios that you kind of think about. You don't think about as like, oh, what have they done? Because everyone talks about like, Sentai Works. They talk about A1 Pictures, or I think it's A1 Pictures. Is that what it's called? Like they talk about these like
Yeah,
big, even like toy animation for like the children stuff. Like these are names that you like know of, and then you get to like Mappa, and it's like a lesser known one, and then you realize how much they've actually
yeah.
done.
I
It's
mean,
kind of like
just clicking Mappa. First of all, they've done 69 shows, so big props there. But the shows they've
nice.
done, sorted by popularity: Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan final season, Kakaguri, Terror and Resonance, Dororo, Yuri on Ice, God of High School, Banana Fish, Doro Hey Doro, like a
Yeah, it's a ton
bunch
of good
of
stuff.
great shows in God of High School.
So you're willing to give it a shot, and I don't worry, I
Yeah.
did hear you say the God of High School.
They're also
You know,
going to be in charge of the Jujutsu Kaisen movie and Chainsaw Man.
and if there's one thing that's consistent about Mappa, then is everything that you kind of named there is beautifully animated. So at the very least, what you can expect out of Remain is that it's going to be beautifully animated.
Yeah, it's going to be great looking water polo and great looking whatever the hell the show is that I picked. I don't even know what it's about, to be honest.
And great looking men, but I don't
Yep.
care about that part.
All right. Other side of the coin now, something overrated. I kicked off the sleepers, so I'll let you kick off the overrateds here for the summer.
I again with my lacking of watching on everything out there, I couldn't find anything that I felt like appropriately fit overrated. But I've been talking about this since episode 1 pretty much of us recording that I thought My Hero season 5 wasn't going to be that great. And in all honesty, I think I'm like 3 episodes behind because I'm just like not really caring. It looks like right now they're pacing that they're like going at things feels a little bit too slow for people, and they're wanting to get to like the next arc, and they're not sure how much time they're going to have to cover that arc. So overall, I feel like for an anime that everyone knows, everyone's excited for, I would say that it's appropriately overrated for this season, even if that's the like low hanging fruit kind of thing to grab at,
Yeah,
but
it feels
it
like
is
a very
accurate.
safe choice when it's that massively popular and
Yeah, but I
that many
mean,
people
as
like
again,
it.
as
But
somebody who's
mhm.
a manga reader for it and really has read every chapter since like season 1, I there's just something not there about this season.
Yeah, you've been. I mean, this isn't a new development for trying to pick something out of this season. You have been saying it since the beginning of last season, as soon as this My Hero season 5 started. So can't fault you there for sticking with it. My overrated, and again going off of just blind predictions. I'm going with The Detective Is Already Dead. I'm going with it because it is, I believe it's the third most popular thing this season
Correct.
after the
Not
two big
counting,
sequels that we
My
mentioned.
Hero, but yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
not I'm not counting any of the holdovers from previous seasons. And then if you
Mhm.
take out the two most popular shows, which are both sequels,
Sequels.
this is the most popular season one new show out. And to be honest, I think just like any sort of mystery thriller drama, it kind of has that tipping point. We talked about it with Tokyo Revengers, where it could fall into masterpiece territory or it can fall into absolute shit show territory.
That's valid.
And then I look at
I
some of these character designs, and it doesn't inspire too much hope. I mean, I'm looking at this tri-colored hair, eye patch wearing idol character, and I don't think I've ever seen a good show that had a character fitting that description.
so I watched 2 episodes of it,
Mhm.
and so the first episode to start is like 43 minutes. So it's on the longer end of things, and then it goes into the 23 episodes or 23-minute episodes. But it just like I was okay with how it started, and then episode 2 hit, and I was like, did I did I miss 3 episodes? Like, did I click on the wrong episode? Because like it's and you're gonna hear it. It's a very similar feeling with why I'm not why I had my dumpster fire is gonna be like a similar vein to this, what I'm about to say, and it's that I just feel confused watching this until they like start to explain a little bit more. And maybe it's because I'm not giving 100% attention, but like I feel like I'm normally pretty good at following what's going on, but there's just like there was like 3 times in the last episode where I was just like, wait, am I sure I'm on episode 2? Did like and that's weird to say because it gives you like a jarring feeling that
Yeah.
makes you kind of just not feel great. Like it's gonna be weird.
Mhm. Which
I
again, like
like
any mystery, it could turn it around
yeah.
and be like, "Oh, episode 2 is actually super cool now that I look back on it," but
Mhm.
I wouldn't bet on it.
For the sake of being different, I didn't want to say that one either. I do think that I'm willing to watch it, and I do think that I whether or not I like it, it could still be overrated. But right now, I'm feeling a little confused with it.
And then your pick for uh, rated was My Hero. That's right. I forgot. Wow.
You're doing
Woo.
great.
Yeah. All right.
And now it's your turn to go into the next thing.
Yeah, I actually want to do a bit of buy sell. We had done this in previous episodes. I try to throw games in once in a while. Last season had 4 shows ranked in the top 100 on my anime list, as high as Fruit Basket at 5, which we're not going to see a top 5 show this season, I promise you.
No, no, no.
And Vivi came in at 95, which was the lowest of the 4, with Odd
I'm surprised
Taxi
that
and
that was 95 there.
Odd Taxi and To Your Eternity were the other 2 that were sandwiched between those.
You really are
So
spoiled with that season.
it,
4 top
I
100s.
mean, Tokyo Revengers is currently the 5th highest ranked show from last season. It's insane.
Mhm. But
With that
to your
and
point,
the way that this season looks, buy or sell, will there be one show in the top 100 this season?
it's hard to say because the only number that I'm going to give out is that 8.51 is what number 101. So that's what it needs as an average score to be able to break into that. Currently, the 2 things that are close are the season 2 animes, which have almost 300,000 people rating them. As of right now, I think Kobayashi could break into that 100. I don't want I'm not gonna give it to Slime Anime, but I think Kobayashi has a chance. But
Mhm.
as somebody who isn't watching it to be able to give a proper opinion, like it's hard to say, but there's really nothing else that's getting like ratings. Everything else is like a 7.4. Like if you probably average things, things aren't getting highly rated this season.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna say, you know what? I will say buy on Kobayashi,
Okay.
but that
I'm
is the only one.
I'm glad you went by. I am selling it. I don't know that Kobayashi or Slime will do well enough to break the top 100. They're currently sitting at 137 and 145. Obviously, we're just at the beginning of the season, but
Yeah.
I don't think they get there. I don't think they break top 100, and unless one of the other shows sees an Odd Taxi like end of season just massive leap forward, it's not going to be
I
anything else. I agree with you. It's going to be one of those sequels, but
yeah, I
Odd
think the one
Taxi
thing
is
that
certainly the outlier.
I think the thing that you have to keep in mind is most of the time people really like the sequels more than the first season, even if it's quality in terms of writing wasn't great. Like, if you kind of just look at the top like 25 right now, or the top like 50, for instance, you have, Attack on Titan season 3 part 2, you have Fruits Basket final, you have March Comes in Like a Lion season 2, you have
Every
Planada
season
After
of
Story,
Gintama.
like you have Code Geass season 2, like season 2s, because they're the season after, even if there's only 2 seasons of something, typically that one tends to get a little bit of a bump.
Yes,
So
because if
that's
you're
kind
still
of like,
watching it, odds
yeah,
are you enjoyed
exactly.
it to some degree. So yeah.
So I think that might be the only reason why I think it could jump in there. Even like I'm just looking right now, like Haikyuu second season at 50, you have what was I about to say? There was Mob Psycho at 26. Like both of these are season 2s that probably
Mhm.
will, or in Haikyuu's case already had a season 3. So yeah, Kobayashi, I'd say. The more that I research, the more that I feel good about that guess.
All right. We'll see how it pans out because we are on opposite sides of that one.
Mm.
Let's get into Dumpster Fire.
Speaking of opposite sides, I think I should probably go in on this one because what I have to say about Dumpster Fire is going to be a little bit of an opposite opinion here.
All right.
And it kind of talks about again what I was saying about the detective's already dead. This anime just really confuses me because they give you very minimal info and it's a lot like like it's the anime Sunny Boy. I'm putting a Sunny Boy right now in Dumpster Fire, and I wanted to like it because it was like almost on like that like mysterious side of things with like superpowers and stuff like that. But and it's like drawn as if it's from the 90s. It's very like stylistically different. But I am just again like Detective really confused with its like pacing and its like info that it provides you and then jumps into it, characters that you don't really like understand through a couple episodes all of a sudden just you're getting a lot of like backstory thrown in over time, but it's just a very confusing first couple episodes that makes me not sure how it's going to continue because right now I really don't know how I'm going to feel about it, but I'm leaning towards I'm not gonna like it.
All right. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say a ton about it now. It is one that I'm considering throwing out as an anime of the season. Just prior to the season, it seemed like it was getting a lot more hype than some of the other things, and it is Madhouse, I believe, which usually deliver, but we will get to that shortly. My dumpster fire, I'll throw out a more fun one first. Girlfriend, I think is going to be one of the most enjoyable catastrophic dumpster fires, like domestic girlfriend kind of show where
Okay,
it,
okay.
it might be a disaster, but I'm probably gonna love it. That being said, my actual pick for show that I think I'm just gonna hate the most is the only show I've seen people talking about so far on Twitter, Reddit, online, wherever. It's the Great Jai Will Not Be Defeated. Some demon lowly nonsense.
Ah, demon
It
lollies.
it just it wasn't on my radar before the season started. But like I said, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's the only new show I've seen people mention. And every time I see it on my timeline, I'm just like, why?
I,
Why are we
I'm
talking
gonna
about
judge
this?
it solely off of this one image that I'm finding right now, and the demon lolly just looks like she really has to use the bathroom, and it makes me uncomfortable because she's like 6 years old and holding her hands by her crotch. So that's my one thing about it that I can gauge off of it, but yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a mediocre demon lolly anime.
Yeah, and it's like, other than that, she has like, what half of the memes are looking at is like, she has this like second form where she's taller and in a bikini. And they made her taller, so it's like a little bit less illegal. And I if that, I don't know how relevant to the plot that demon power is, but I feel like the more that that power is tied to the plot, the less I want to watch the show.
Depends on what kind of plot we're talking about here.
I don't want either of them. No, thank you.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, I can tell you that looking at that, that was not on my radar, and I probably will stay off my radar at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch like 10 to 12 shows that I'm willing to give a chance, and that's the one everyone
Yeah.
wants to talk about. It's like, no thanks.
I do want to say on the topic of things that I want to watch but I haven't gotten around yet. One thing that, based off of the synopsis, has interested me. It's called Remake Our Life,
Yes.
and it's definitely getting more favorable reviews, but it's more on the like slice of life rom-com drama kind of anime. So it's one that's going to be more up my alley, but I just haven't had time to watch it mainly because I think episode 1 if I remember correctly was also like 40 minutes, and those are just harder to like start yourself real quick. So I'll be getting around to that, and that one I feel like depending on the quality of it could slip into like one of my categories right now,
Yeah,
but
yeah, we haven't talked about it all, but it is on my radar as well, and I'm excited to get into it and see what it's about. I mean, isekai video game industry shows are very much hit or miss, but I'm willing to give it a shot. And back into the anime of the season, I already said that mine, I think, would be Sunny Boy, just based on what seems like a really cool just synopsis and really different, unique art styles. Like I don't know, something about the art style is pulling me in. Like I do really want to watch this. I want to like it. I hope I do, but I haven't seen any of it at all. So
yeah. Again, like I felt the same way. Like I was reading the synopsis and I was like, "Oh, this looks cool. Like I want to watch this." And then I it's funny cuz like episode 1 literally looks like the image that you see on my anime list, and it just feels almost it feels too empty because it's just that like blackness like the image
mm,
there and like the space and everything like that. And like it changes into like, eventually, but it just there's just certain things that just feel like it almost like on a low effort kind of side. And
mm.
again, it's a very like stylistically different thing, so I'm trying to not judge it based off stylistic differences, but it does feel almost like there's a too low of a quality for me.
Yeah, I mean, my hope is that taking this sci-fi show, having Madhouse work with it, I'm hoping that it could be maybe something along the lines of like what Ping Pong the animation was in terms
Yeah.
of a more unique kind of different art style and maybe a weirder show that flew under some people's radars. But now you look back at something like Ping Pong and it's really good. The community loves it, and I have some hopes for Sunny Boy to kind of fall into a similar vein, but obviously on
Yeah.
the
I mean, the
sci-fi
one thing to keep in
side of
mind is that
things.
also is that I don't think this anime has any manga adaptation, so it's a straight like anime written thing. Like I'm looking it up
Yeah,
right
it is.
now,
Yep.
and so like this is a stylistic choice that they went down without like anything telling them, "Hey, we should do this." Like this is the decision making they went on it, and let's see if it pays off for him right now. So I kind of alluded at it earlier. I don't necessarily want to pick something that is continuing from the previous season, but with the limited amount of stuff that we've watched, I'm going with my personal bias of Tokyo Revengers. If I'm gonna continue off of something that was airing, I know the arc that we're getting into right now is probably like one of my favorite arcs that I read. So
Mm,
I'm super looking forward to how that gets animated. And I mean, again, I mentioned this in the previous episode that I had read like 200 chapters in a day. I very much got ingrained into this anime and this manga and everything like that. And I really do think that it's worth people's time watching.
mhm.
But I don't need to go into too many details about that. If I have to pick something that is currently airing, it just started airing, I'm gonna go with it's called The Aquatope of White Sand. And it's a little bit more of the like girls romance anime. Main character was a former idol that goes to like countryside, works at an aquarium, meets girl, starts working there. It's super cute. Obviously, working at an aquarium, you gotta have like some beautiful scenery and some artwork, and they're countryside, so there's beautiful landscapes and things like that. So I think it's gonna be one of those fun, cute anime that I'm gonna want to watch. And I didn't want to put it as a sleeper because I felt like it was more well known than Remain. So because of that,
Mhm.
I decided it's more of an anime of the season for me.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about it. I don't know how far into it you are. But it's a slice of life. Like it seems like it gives off place further than the universe kind of vibes. I don't know if it's that kind of show. It's not something that I noticed at all when I was going through trying to figure out when I was going to watch for the season. I completely missed Aquatope.
Mm. Yeah, and like I was really like trying to dig down on like day one when I was trying to watch things. This was actually the first anime that I watched of the season
Hmm.
because I was just like, okay, this probably feels like something I can easily get into that would fit more of my like genre needs. Like it's definitely a more niche thing that people are gonna probably pass on, and that's probably why, like you said it yourself, like it wasn't on your radar, you probably just passed by it because
Hmm.
who really is looking for an anime that's about two girls working in an aquarium. Like,
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, but like you said, I'm looking at some of the visuals now, some of the promotional posters and things like that, and the water and the aquatic imagery and scenes look gorgeous. So I'm sure in motion it looks even better. At least I hope
yeah,
so.
so I have a couple episodes finished right now, and I'm happy with calling that my anime of the season. I was actually flip-flopping that between that and Remain, but I felt like I'm too uncomfortable saying Remain for anime of the season, so Aquatope it is.
Yeah, and that will do it for all of our choices here. I think this is going to be maybe a lower quality season than anything we've seen in the past year, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun here trying to pinpoint and pick what we think falls into each of these categories. I think this is one where we're probably going to spend every week changing our mind and flip-flopping constantly. So,
Yeah. Uh,
especially with these shows being 4 to 6 weeks apart, we might come back with totally different views.
Yeah, and I think like exactly the point that I'm kind of like or maybe not the point that I'm trying to get at, but I think that one of the things that I was talking about again earlier is that it was, it's bookended with two amazing seasons, next season and this season, our previous season. So you are going to be digging in to try to find these more niche things. Last season, we probably had an easier time picking things because there were so many good things. But if you are somebody who wants to try to find these more niche options and, feel like there's more than the ones that everybody else is talking about, then I think this is probably like a good season to like find your lesser known options that you're probably going to like that maybe not other people like, but it's still going to have some quality there. You just got to dig down and actually search for it.
Yep. I'm excited to see what emerges because it feels like every season, no matter what, there's always a show or two that kind of rise to the top and get people talking. Hopefully, something other than some lowly garbage. Please, anyone talk about a second show?
Lollies.
Why? Why?
Just accept your lolliness. It's okay.
I don't want to. Just
Fair.
because I'm short doesn't mean we need more lolly shows. We need less. No one clip
They're not
anything.
lollies to you if you're like the same height as them, right?
That'll do it. That's it. I'm done talking to you. I'm gonna go do something else. I'll see you next time when we update this season at some point. I have no idea how many weeks, but we'll get to it.
Bye.